What is going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Dry Miami. Today we are going to be doing 2jzgte wiring harness removal. I'm looking for my tools right now, and as soon as I get that, stay tuned, check it out. Alright guys, so I'm going to be showing you how to remove the wiring harness on a 2jzgte VVTi. It's my first time doing it, so you guys are going to learn with me, and there's nothing else to say, but let's do it. Alright guys, this is the main reason why I'm getting a new wiring harness and changing out, because this one's actually pretty much destroyed. I need to get a new wiring harness. It's not that big of a deal. I just get a new wiring harness. I just got to put the work in and do it. So like I said before, we're going to go ahead and tackle that now. We're going to start on the turbo side, which technically speaking would be this side. And we're going to start with this more simpler things like this wire for the alternator. Maybe disconnect this, I believe it's the O2 sensor. Just leave the O2 sensor plugged in, just disconnect the wire. And keep going from there. Like I said, I'm learning on the fly, so you guys are going to learn with me. So let's go. Alright, so here's what I got so far, as you've seen in the time lapse. I went ahead and left some of these things plugged in so you can see exactly what I unplugged. The first thing I unplugged was, of course, the O2 sensor. You see it here, it's unplugged. This is the other end. So the wiring harness goes from that. It's connected still to the alternator. I haven't been able to take that out yet, but there's this black plug right here, this green one, and then there's another one, which is this one right here, which is plugged right over here. All that has to come out, like I said, including the one to the alternator. Then you gotta run up and into the valve cover, and then of course you get all this wiring here. This is all gonna be coming out right now soon. And then you have to take out one bolt here, follow the wiring harness around. It's this plug right over here. Follow the wiring some more. Just another thing, all these little clips that you see here holding the wiring, all you have to do is put a screwdriver straight into it, and then it will just pull back on the wiring harness, not hard, but just a little bit, and they'll start to come out. So you're gonna see all this is coming out here. Let me take this one out, and then you got the one plug right over here. Once all that is out, you still follow this. You will need to follow all of this. It goes into the intake side, and that I haven't got to yet, but then you still got to go in there, and I'm not sure how to take it out, but for now we'll at least disconnect everything. So yeah, I gotta get to that now. Alright, so just a little recap of what I just did. I went ahead and disconnected these two bolts, which are 10mm bolts. They were pretty much holding this over here into this little bracket. I don't know if you guys can see that. So like I said, I went ahead and took forever to find my 10mm bolts, like always, because, you know, to find a 10 mils, the hardest thing in the world. And then, you know, I digress. So I went ahead and took out these two bolts, picked this up. If you notice here, I haven't showed you guys yet, into these coil packs, they have these little plugs that go into the, like I said, to the coil pack. You just disconnect all the plugs to the coil pack. This broke off because it's brittle, but this is actually supposed to be attached to this wiring harness here. So basically, it's like a little bracket that holds these wires into place, the ones for the spark plug wires. So you go ahead and unscrew the 10mm bolt that holds it into place, both of them, and the whole loom should come up and over. Alright, so now that we went ahead and tackled moving the loom and all that stuff, the next thing to do is come onto the intake side, so which we're going to do now, and find out exactly how to get all this, you know, shit out. So I'm going to put you on the time lapse and then figure this out, and I'll let you guys know what's up. Okay, so I have this more or less kind of sort of figured out. Basically, the wiring harness runs into two things. This is the back of the wiring harness. It comes up and splits into two, upper and lower, which you have the upper that goes, of course, all this up here. And you got the lower, which runs straight across to your, I guess this is where the ECU and everything hooks up, the main part of the harness, and it just keeps shooting across. And then it goes two ways. It goes down and up. So from down here, this unplugs, right? We're over here by the AC compressor. You got wiring down here. You got to push all this wiring. Then you got the one, I believe that's the oil pressure sensor, or the oil sensor. You push all this upward. Let's see if you guys can see the movement here. You push it upward. So you pull it upward, and then once it's upward, you unplug. Let's see if I can see what else needs to be unplugged now, which is another oil sensor, that plug that's right there, and then the rest should come straight out. And then you have 10mm that holds this main bracket into place, which is a 10mm here, 10mm there. I've already loosened them up. Also, you got to take out this ground here, and there's another ground right over here, which I've already loosened them. I haven't taken them out yet, just to show you guys what's going on. Also, let's see what I could remember. There's a sensor back here. And as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to the wiring harness, I believe that's it for the bottom portion. I'm going to get to the top portion in just a few, but it looks scary and crazy, but in all actuality, it's just you got to know where things are plugged in, and then once you figure that out, then, you know, it's not too bad. But yeah, we're going to put you back on the time lapse now. Alright, so I went ahead and disconnected all this stuff right here. And something I did notice, now that I got most of the stuff more or less out of the way, if you see here, I got literally the whole entire wiring harness and everything from the turbo side already out. I noticed this little thing right here was in the way, this hose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and clamp this hose, pull this little pin thing down, pull this out, move it aside, and see if I can get more of this clear. I am under the impression I might have to disconnect all this stuff, this little heat shield for the wiring harness. Hopefully not, but I'm trying to avoid that, but let's see where this leads. So that's the update so far, and yeah. Alright, so as you can see, I went ahead and removed the wiring harness pretty much off of the 2jz completely. not completely, but the only thing that's left over is to take off whatever's here up top. What I went ahead and did already that you guys probably didn't see is on the time lapse, I went ahead and disconnected this hose like I was saying earlier. I went ahead and disconnected it, pulled this back. With that, I was able to move the wiring over the complete thing and just pull it out through this little side here and in and out. It's a little tight fit because literally you're going around this hose here, and then luckily this hose is the engine's out luckily, and I moved this hose out of the way and literally everything moved right over. Then the next issue was the dipstick was in the way, so I went ahead and had to loosen this bolt, well, take out the bolt and remove the dipstick. After I removed the dipstick, next thing I had to do was loosen this brace here. This is the brace that holds, I guess I'm assuming the intake up and keeping it from falling or warping or anything like that. I had to remove it to get this loom out. Once the loom was out, I got all the space free, so I'm going to continue working now and continue to keep you up to date. Alright, so here's what I got. I already briefly disconnected everything, so I'm literally just going to show you the fast way. So from the front, I disconnected the throttle position sensor, which I believe that's what it is. We have each individual plug for the fuel rail. So we went ahead and took this one out, which you see here. The next one to take out would be the second one right here. Go ahead and pull that out. That's out. The next would be to take out the, I believe this is a turbo pressure sensor. So we're gonna go ahead and take out the turbo pressure sensor, the plug next to that one. Keep going a little further in. We still got one more plug for the injector. That one came out too. Then you have this little blue, green, teal, whatever you want to call it, plug right here. We took that one out as well. Then you come over here. We already disconnected this fuel rail. And then disconnect this sensor right here, and then I'm not 100% sure, but let's see how far we go. Also, I went ahead and moved this this hose out of the way, see if it give me more room. So now I'm gonna see exactly how to pull and fish this out, which I'm gonna get back to you guys in just a little bit. Well, all right, everybody, it's official. The wiring harness is out. Here it is. Well, I need to take this igniter, but other than that, this wiring harness is pretty much chopped and screwed. I'm happy it's out. It's very simple to take out. It's not too hard. The only thing that you do need is a little bit of know-how and some remembrance, because if you do take this out, you will have to put one back in, obviously. If you have a basic car knowledge, you're able to take this out no problem. My thing is just if you are going to tackle this project, just at least watch this video, make sure you know what you're doing, and you should be fine. Now that the wiring harness is out, I gotta go ahead and order a new wiring harness, and then once I have the new one, you'll see a new install video of how to install your wiring harness on a 2jz. But for now, this is what we got. So with that being said, stay tuned to the channel, like, subscribe. Definitely subscribe for more, and I hope it helps. You guys know what to do. Drive Miami. Peace.